What a fantastic stage 5 this is going to be. I'm really positive. I've had a good few races over the Christmas break and New Year break. So we start with the GENTIL course, of course, in France. Looking at the graphic top right, this is by the way, the 390 to 520 ZRS. Top right, there's a significant climb. It's 858 feet in total for the course, probably 550, perhaps a bit less actually, on that climb, which is roughly 40% into the race. It's relatively flat for the rest. The French course is lots of humps and bumps, little 3%ers. You can see there's several power-ups. Strangely, 3 on the flat before you even get to the climb. I'm guessing that's perhaps to encourage people to attack before the climb, perhaps. But we've got a group of 59 riders here, and I'm sat right in the bunch. There's a few been dropped from the start. You can see from the bubble on the top right graphic. Just under 16 miles course here. I expect 40 minutes approximately for the duration at the pace I'm going. My objective, as always, is to increase my ZRS, even by 1. 0 neutral would be okay, but every race I'm trying to improve. Now, I suspect that would mean I need to be in the top 30, well, 28 riders actually, if we're being accurate. So places 20 to 28th will get me 1 or 2 increase, I guess. Anything bigger than that, higher than that, top 10 to top 20, I suspect might get me 3 to 5 increase on ZRS, typically. So there's a bit of a lead in here. No one's doing anything silly. You can see my average top left, 230 or just below. I'm cruising, to be honest, in 15th gear, just hovering around 200 watts, completely in the draft here. Right in the bunch, safely in the bunch. Everything is going to revolve around that climb. On YouTube, I've watched several races yesterday at different ZRS levels, and they're all the same. The pattern is the same. You need to go over that crest, the peak of that climb. I'll just fast forward this to the base of the climb. You need to go over that crest in the front group. Otherwise, you've no chance of catching up on that flat, because the broken packs tend to split into riders of 5 to 10, perhaps a bit more, and they work together for the remaining, I'm going to say, 7 miles to the finish, which is a flat sprint, basically. It's a classic flat sprint that's been in numerous races on this course previously. So taking my time here, done over 4.2 miles. We're coming to another banner. As I said, look, nobody's attacking, not with 59 riders who are pretty much equal. Let's say 55 riders. I think 3 or 4 got dropped from the start. Everyone's pretty much using their... I've got a feather, so I'm not going to use that. Obviously, I'm going to use the feather. I want to say 9/10 up that climb, the final bit when I'm really struggling, so I can push over the top in the front group. That's the aim, that's the objective. 175 feet climbed already. That's what I'm saying about this French course. It's lots of little lumps and bumps, little 20 to, here you go, little 20 feet of 3, 4, 2%. Lots of those. Little 10 to 15, 20 feet. Yeah, just over 11 minutes gone. Cruising at 25 miles an hour. Going into this climb, it's all about that. So I've been prepared. And I've got to say, when you're practicing as I do on the grade and Outta Zwift, it really helps, because you're doing sustained climbing at a certain cadence, and you get your mind and your muscle your leg muscles thinking about you're just going to dig in for whatever 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. Obviously out to Zwift, little less power, but you're doing that for roughly an hour. That's the absolute ultimate practice. So here we go. I want to be doing between 320 and 340 watts consistently. That, with a push at the end, should give me an opportunity to go over the top with the front group. Nice little bit of a warm up here. You see these riders almost disappearing as if they've got the ghost power up, and I'm not sure that was offered at any of those barriers. Tell me if I'm wrong. But here we go, 332 watts, you can see. Controlling that cadence. It's perhaps a bit too much output there. I shouldn't be pushing. Now I wanted to see, because of the distance on this climb, whether I could drop into 14th and not stay in 15th and stand up on this first bit, because I'm going to need to save some energy. Everything's going to plan here. I'm not bothered that I'm not in the draft. That completely psychologically, you've got a massive break on the downhill, and it's pretty flat for the rest of the course, so it's not an issue that I'm not in the draft. What I want to be is in a position with the top. I'm going to say there's 20 riders going over the top at a maximum, and perhaps that goes down to 10. You can see the group splitting already. Well, not splitting, but there's a bit of distance, and you can't afford to be right at the back there. And you see you can see two groups have been dropped there. Two little groups of 2 or 3 riders already dropped. So we're probably down to perhaps 45 riders, and they're still all bunched up-ish. Now this becomes the challenging bit, because this orange bit is just a bit too much to be stood up for that duration, considering the rest of the climb. 14 minutes done, just over 300 feet under the belt, so far 5.6 mile. We're doing just over 6.5% on here, and I'm perhaps putting a bit too much output, but I'm having to do that to stay with this group. You could argue I'm even in the draft there, actually. Ignore what I've just said. I'm having to stand up. I am in 14th gear though, because of the gradient, and I'm having to stand up to keep the 320 to 350 watts going. I didn't have the power sat down putting that through my legs. Here we go, with gradient just goes a little bit shallower, dropping to just perhaps 4%. There you go, just over 4%. We go around the corner, probably just under halfway through. I suspect on this climb the pack is breaking up. It's all about this climb and what power are you going to put out. Just done over 353 calories, averaging 251 watts. I should be in 15th gear here. That says how much it's taxing on my legs, because I'm unable to get into 15th and sit down. Having said that, 14th sat down seems to be enough in this group. I may have to stand up on this next bit. 6 miles gone. I've still got the feather. I'm going to use that right at the crest. Having to stand up. People are using the feather. That's psychological advantage for me, because I didn't feel I needed to use it. It's getting a nice rhythm stood up. Still at the front, giving me confidence. Other people are blowing the feathers. This next yellow bit is going to be a big test. Can I sit back down and keep the power on and not get dropped? Everything's going nicely to plan. Just round this bend, there's a little dip in gradient, and then we have a little orange bit, yellow. You can see the blue bit, so that's a positive. You can see the crest. We go up to this building and then it's round the corner. 2 little steep bits. Look, I'm trying to move to the right to get in the draft. Having said all I said, by the time you're near the top, you need every little advantage, every incremental advantage. Going strong here. I'm living up to it, even though I just dropped off the watts there. Get back on the watts, onto the cobbles. Still haven't used the feather. I intend to use it on that second orange. And then there's a flat bit which I need to progress and to power through before the descent. We go a bit, I need to stand up again. There's a big group here. I want to say there's 20, perhaps 20 riders in this group. I'm right in them, everybody's competing. Couple, 3 use the feather there. Everyone's bunched in. I'm in a very good position here. Stand up. Right, I'm going to use the feather in a minute. Use the feather. There we go. I think that's pretty well timed. I'm in a great position here. Well timed with a feather. One last peek here. Let's go through the banner here. But you can't come off the power. I'm in 14th gear. I need to get to 15th on this flat bit. There we go, up to 15th. Put 400 watts out. Right, this is the test here. Don't let go. Got another feather, by the way. Right, I'm in the front group. Blimey, it's still split. Right, I cannot get... You can see they've gone off. So I put it up to 16th gear. I need to get right back in there. 417 watts, 408 calories done, 450 watts. Yeah, there's 2 of us there. Right back in. Can you see we've dropped some of the others? There's probably 25, 20 riders been dropped there. I suspect they're going to have to get back onto this group. I need a breather now. That was shattering getting back on there. I'm really proud I did that. Believe me, that was a big effort to put 450 watts up, even on the flat. 450 watts is 450 watts. Everyone's coming through there. I'm right in the draft nicely. 8.7 miles to go. I'm having to stand up. There, great position. I was wanting to enjoy this hill on the descent. You can see, just had a little break, had a breather. Doing 200 watts. Everybody's come together there, you see, as they slowed down, everybody. Look, this is a big group. I don't know exactly how many have made it into this front group. I'm going to say 20 riders. I'm perfectly positioned there on the descent, taking every ounce of draft I can. I've got the feather. You can see one more power up. There's 8.2 miles to go. I've come right through there accidentally. What I'm doing there is changing the music up, and I want to say I got it ready for the Prodigy because I wanted to get inspired and a bit of motivation to push through on a sprint at the end, because there's no way this group is leaving me. By the time we've gone on the flat, I'm ready. I can catch anyone. Nobody's going to attack from here, so it will be down to the sprint. I suspect there's going to be this bunch pretty much at the sprint, unless someone attacks on this flat, which I'd be surprised because there's so many riders. It actually said I was 22nd there, 23rd, so it's at least 23 riders in here. That's a lot to stay together, by the way, I've got to say. I mean, well done to all those riders, simple as that. I knew that struggle over the top. It was horrendous, and everybody's come together. Everybody knows the tactics on this course. It's as simple as that. Good mixture of strong riders there, I'm absolutely sure. I'm punching above my weight with these riders. A lot out of this 23 riders, if that's what it is. My aim is to get in the top 10. I'll be very happy. Probably going to finish, I can't finish any worse than 23rd because the group behind, not sure how many seconds behind, but they're never going to catch this front group. So I'm going to be well positioned, but I don't want to finish 23rd, obviously. If I've got an opportunity to use that feather, it's a fantastic sprint on the cobbles, there's round the bend, and then probably 80 metres sprint. Flat, you can see the banner really open. Somebody's using the feather there. Just niggly little bumps, 3 on the trot, you can see on the graphic. Just 2%, but it's just annoying. You just can't have a break, no respite. But you can see I'm comfortably competing with everybody else. That's the key. I don't need to use the feather. Pretty comfortable doing whatever, 250 watts. Nobody's pushing, nobody's attacking yet. 6.8 miles to go, 9.1 completed. Almost 23 minutes. Just stood up there to stretch my legs actually. My hamstrings get really tight, I'm sure, like everybody else's. But sometimes just standing up just gives a little relief to the hamstrings, just stretches them. So I can do another mile. See a long flat here. Pace, somebody's just attacking off there. The pace has quickened up. We just need to be careful here, no messing about. I'm well placed here, still getting a bit of draft. As I said, nobody's getting away from me, that's the key. Another little annoying, we're almost approaching 600 feet. Climb, so I want to say 220 left. And you wouldn't think that looking at the graphic, but that's this French route. Little dips and dives and climbs. It is exciting flying around these bends, I've got to say. I've used the feather because we're going to get, I'll get another power up at the next banner and I'll save that till the sprint. So I might as well use this feather. Just keep drafting. 15th gear, average 247. So you can see this is a lot slower than the previous race where I actually put a huge, I dug really deep, 257 average watts, but ended up coming, I think it was 30th, something like that, out of 79 different categories. It was really fast. On the flat, having to do 300 watts, 250, 275. People attacking all the time. Just cruising around these little tiny hairpins, little bit of a climb, get up off the saddle, just stretch the legs. 5.7 miles to go. It's only one lap on this Outta 25 stage 5. I want to say there's perhaps 200 feet, perhaps 175 to go. Almost 500 calories done. 80 RPM. Not needing to do anything else. I'm sure everybody's thinking the same. Nobody's gone off, nobody's sprinted. I think there's just too many in this group to let any one rider go off into the distance. That might change though, the fact that they might use the power up knowing they've got one coming up. Perfectly positioned there in the draft. 10.7 miles completed, 5.2 to go. Just up the RPM there. I like this course, I do. I would have just liked another climb though, perhaps, towards the end of this, because I think it's too flat, this second half. Having said that, it perhaps gives the flat riders and the sprinters a much better chance, and it gives the climbers a chance. Somebody's just gone off there. The Dutch rider. Yeah. Dutch rider's definitely pushing 4 watts a kilo there and sustaining it. Is anybody going to chase? There you go, the group's just splitting a bit. I'm having to do 200 over 300 watts there. It's quickened up. There we go, we just rein the rider back in. Let's get right on his wheel, her wheel. Nicely in the draft. So there was a cheeky little attack there, but not sustained. I need to get back in that draft. Not doing myself any favours there. 4.5 miles to go. Just punch up that little climb, keeping that front group. Nothing silly. Get right in the draft. 244 average. Almost 15 down on my race yesterday, but I'm far better positioned because yesterday I was dropped on the big first climb by fellow B riders, and I was putting in the watts, so it was nothing to do with that. I think there's just a collection of really good quality top end B riders, and that was the difference. Someone's gone off again. Renard, the French rider. Is he going to put a serious attack in? Just pulling that pack apart. Roach has gone after. Perhaps they're working together. Just going to have to be careful here because I don't want them going into the distance. 12 miles done, 4 to go. I'll just rein them back in. Get a bit of hydration, fluids in me. Come round the corner. I think it's a long straight up now. In a minute, just come on this descent and then you go up to the banner. Probably 100, 150 metres perhaps. Well, we'll get the final power up. The Brit Bond has gone out there. How much am I going to have to do now? People going to push. I'm doing 450 watts to stay at the front. Yeah, nobody's gone. Nobody's gone. Comfortable there through the banner. 563 calories, averaging 246. Got the feather. Okay. I wonder how many are in this front group. Well done, Claire Martin. I think I got the green jersey on the polka dot jersey. Amazing. Yeah, looking at it there on the graphic. Big respect, Claire, for that. Superb performance. 772 feet, over 31 minutes. So it's a bit longer than the others, this. Just a bit further, probably 3 miles further than the average distance we've done in the other stages. Somebody's used a feather there, not sure why. You would use it up. was very close. Look how competitive this is. Fantastic. Three miles to go. This was a very enjoyable race, I've got to say. Very exciting. Perhaps because I was in the front group. Someone's gone off there. Dutch rider again. You could see putting a bit of sprint there. You got the Brit putting in 7 watts a kilo to chase down. I'm just keeping in there. Over 400 watts, reined in. I'm really proud of that. I'm bringing the pack and reining that attacking. You can see people coming through now, pressing hard because the distance. I think people are taking an opportunity. No one's really gone off there. I think they just came through with a group, had a bit of momentum. Having said that, someone's just gone off there. That's definitely an attack. Hunt the Brit, E. Hunt and Malone the Canadian, definitely gone off together there. Chase them down. Don't need this. I thought it was just going to be a roll and then a sprint. Rein them back in. Pulled them back in. The rest of the group will come back. 2.4 miles to go. There you go. I'm having to stand up. Otherwise they're going to get away. People are really turning the screw here. I've got to say I was struggling now. It was not an easy walk to the line. The Dutch rider putting in 4.5 kilos again. Attacking again. Fair play. Very courageous. But this group is going nowhere. You can see the whole group. Nobody's been dropped. Everybody is pretty much feeling ill. Yeah, I second that. I wasn't feeling great. I think you've seen there 2 or 3 attacks, but when you've got a group of 20 riders that all came off that peak with the same strength and determination, nobody's going to let anybody go with less than 2.5 miles to go. Not in this group, which is fantastic. This is Zwift racing. This is how exciting Zwift racing can be. And think of the fitness, free fitness, while you're enjoying a virtual game, basically. 791 feet. I've got to say there's perhaps 50 feet max. Hunt again. Fair play, just rocking under 5 watts a kilo. Well, there's no way he's getting away. Still doing over 4.3 watts a kilo. You've got the American roughie come through. Nobody is going to let anybody go off the front. Perhaps I just need to draft here. There's no time for drafting. E-Hunt is not giving in. He's not stopping. 1.6 miles to go. Fantastic attack. But look at the group here charging. I'm in the draft doing 400 watts here. And we're still not catching Hunt. He's still doing 4 watts a kilo. On his own, the German there, Sonnabend, has said, nope, we're not having that. Chase down, you can see the group there. God, it's so difficult to attack solo. Oh, they look like they're going together there. Has Hunt got anything left? No, he's going to be soaked up here. Renard, the French rider, pulling those 2 riders back. Andy H, the English rider, having a go. The 2 Brits there, and Kim, the Japanese rider. So who's up front here? Sonnabend, the German. Oh, he stopped pedalling there. Claire Martin just in front of me, reined them in. Bolsøy, the Norwegian. What a race. 1.1 miles to go. I've got the feather. 16th gear. I've had to go up to 16th gear. 250 watts I was at. People just slowed down there. A little blooming 3%er here, I bet. Typical of this French course. No. Oh, it is. There you go, 2%. 0.9 miles to go. Somebody just gone off there. Is that Hunt again? 6 watts a kilo. The Americans said no chance. Through the Romanian, Manilea. If that's how you pronounce it. Apologies if it's not, but tremendous. What am I doing at the front now? I'm not attacking here, 0.7 miles, no chance. And I don't intend to show everyone that I need to be drafting. I haven't got the legs. Bolsai there. Somebody's used the feather with 0.6 to go. Dempster, was it? No. I don't know who's used that feather, but I'm perfectly positioned here. Got the feather. I need to time this right. Bit of hydration. Nobody's sprinting until 1,000 feet. I'm assured of that. Sorry, I'm absolutely sure that that ain't going to happen. 0.4 of a mile to go. 826 feet. I think there's perhaps 20 feet extra in this. Perfectly positioned here. 20 odd riders. What a race this has been. I'm in 16th gear. 15th won't be enough. Doing just under 85 RPM. Having to do 268. It's round this bend and then it's flat. Get on the feather. Here we go. You can see the marker for the sprint. Some have already gone. Right, start of the feather, 1,000 feet to go. Right, come on, 4:39. What can I do? Come on, put it in. Go around this corner and then I think I get my head down as much as I can give. There, absolutely pushing 5:24, 5:79. 14th place, I think. That's got to give me a ZRS increase to just under 250 watts average for 38.5 minutes. 3.3 watts a kilo. Really proud with that. ZRS increase. I'm putting it in again every race. Happy with that. 15th. Worked really hard. 477 plus 1 you can see on that racing score. Happy with that. If you enjoyed this, like and subscribe. I will be back next couple of days. See you then.